gentlemen, hello and welcome back to episode 21 of the Transport Fever 2 series, The Land of the Free. This is our newly minted Class 9000 stone haulage train that we have running from Allentown Quarry to Hertford Construction Materials Plant. And at the minute it's just heading back towards the Allentown Quarry after making its maiden journey full of stone over to Hertford, and it's netted us a tidy little sum indeed, so high hopes that this is going to prove to be a very profitable line as the game progresses for us, ranking up there with the fuel oil delivery line and the grain freight that we have as well, all three of which do generate us a nice little sum per delivery. So for this episode we're going to focus on New York City and the various districts of New York that we have in that area, such as Brooklyn and Queens. And I'd like to get some mass transit, some public transportation systems set up for those, because as we saw in the last episode, we do have congestion issues between New York City and Brooklyn, and it was starting to impact not only the delivery of the goods into New York, but also the speed and the rate of our buses that we have heading to Grand Central Terminal just outside of Brooklyn. So if we can get that sorted today, I would be happy. So let's jump off this train now, bring up the UI, and we'll see where we are. So we've got 2 billion now, tipped over 2 billion, with 100 million available in the bank, where in 1931, between episodes I have upgraded all of our trucks to these ones, which are the Ford Model 77 top hauling trucks. So we now have these on the map. That's a horrendous bit of road there, but I think we can forgo that. So yes, New York City and the districts thereof. My plan at the moment is for each district to have a bus station somewhere reasonably central, or at least nearby, and that will form the interchange part of our public transport system. And then from there would be buses going into the districts themselves if the station doesn't have a decent catchment. So let's start with New York. So the area I'm planning on using for this is this area here. It's not the largest, but it's what we've got to deal with, because without demolishing half of New York, there's not really much real estate available to us for this, so we're going to have to make do with what is available. So if we had it there, now this is going to put traffic lights on there, which we cannot get rid of, which is unfortunate. But we have to make do with what we've got. Let's restart the game now. And we should be able to put in a street access. In fact, it would be nice to extend this platform, but apparently I'm not allowed. So the street access it is, so it's going to look off center now, which is mildly frustrating, but I suppose we'll have to make it do. The plus side is now we don't have traffic lights on this side, which is an added bonus. Now let's see, could we squeeze in? Yes, we can squeeze in extra platforms on either side, which is rather useful. Can we squeeze one all the way down there? Wow, we can really back this up. We can't get one on that side though. Have I used a truck station? I believe I have. Well, I think we can just get rid of that and put in passenger platforms. Nope, it's made a complete mess of everything. Let's just... What? I've never managed to do that before. Well, that was new. So let's try that again, but this time make sure we're using a bus stroke tram station, shall we? There we go. So now we should be able to extend these platforms. That explains that. There we go. All's well that ends well. We have a connection there now as well. So now what we want to do is push these out as far as we can. It looks like we can get 3 on either side. Yep, 3 on either side. So plenty of scope for buses and trams in here. We can have multiple lines in here without too much issue. Wonderful. And this will be New York City Exchange. Now you can see here the traffic issues that we did have subsided quite substantially, which is good, but we still want to go ahead and get the mass transit system put down anyway. One thing I did do between episodes is I've turned these roads here, these 4, into one-way roads, or leaving the main avenue to access these side roads, and that seems to have helped the congestion issues as well. But enough about that. So ideally we also want one of these in Queens as well, and I'm thinking we'll have it here in this area. We are going to have to do a little bit of deconstruction work here to make room for our access like that, but that's okay. Let's just get rid of those traffic lights because we don't need them. And let's do a bit of configuration on this to extend these platforms out as much as we can. We'll mirror it with 3 on either side. I mean, I could have just put 3 from the start during the setup process, but we'll do it the long-winded way because why the heck not? There we go. Street access as well. And again, we might need to remove the residents there. And we have our connection. Now this means we've got reasonably high capacity roads into this. We've got the 2-lane roads here. We might be able to boost them up to a 3-lane. It's going to remove a few buildings, but so be it. There, that'll help us have decent flow through. Got a few traffic lights that have spawned. Oh no, we haven't. And we've got one there which we will remove. There. And then from here we'll have the bus system that goes to the various parts of Queens and to New York. And in fact this one could arguably serve Yonkers as well. It's not too far away. But the first thing we'd do is put a tram between the New York City Exchange and the Queens. Yeah, we'll call that Queens Halt actually. I like that. So what we want to make sure is that we have electrified tram lines all the way through. So we do up to here because I did select that option in the road setup. However, this bridge does not feature such a facility. So let's upgrade this with a tram track tool. And yes, we want catenary. And we want it to come this way. And we want all this to be tram lined with catenary access as well, which we now have. Rightio. So the first line we're going to set up then, well, the first thing we're going to need, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, is a tram depot for all of this. And we'll put that over here. And we need to give that a connection as well. And this can just be a smallish connection with electrified tram line. And then we want to upgrade this here to also have electrified tram line, so our trams can actually get out and join the lines that they're assigned to. Remove those traffic lights. There we go. So yes, the first line we will do will be from the New York City Exchange to the Queens Halt. Colour scheme, let's have it as this nice blue colour. So it's doing reasonable enough job there. I mean, we could fiddle about with its entry and exit points on these, but I think we'll do that a little bit later. For now, it's okay. And this will be, we'll call this M for Metro, Can't use T for tram, of course. And this will be New York City Queens Metro. So now let's get the trams for this, and this is the first time we've purchased a tram. So what do we have available? We have the San Diego electric trolley, or we have the Peter Witt streetcar, and it's a no-brainer really. Far higher speed, power and capacity on the Peter Witt, so we'll get that. And we'll start with 4 of those, I think. That's the wrong colour, there we go. So here we go, the very first trams we've had in our fleet. Proper little electric trolley there. Right, so that's New York to Queens. What we now need to do is do a bus from, in and around Queens itself. Now I'm going to keep the bus lines reasonably short, and they're all going to originate here, and they're just going to be point-to-point buses. So I think what we'll do is we'll have one that goes up to there and just straight back, so there to there. One that goes there to there, and we'll have one that goes, in fact we may as well have that on a loop. That's quite conducive to a loop, so why not? So new line, colour scheme, we'll have this. This can be, let's think, what colour do we want? Green. And you're coming from Queens Halt and just looping around the district of Queens itself like that. There's really no need for you to share. Oh, you're on platform. Yeah, let's go to platform 2. There we go. No need for you to share a platform there. And this is bus Queens Loop 1. There we go. We have a road depot already, very nearby. So we're going to use the Schneider PB2, and we'll have 4 of those as well. Set the maintenance and the paint job and put them on the line. Okay, so far so good. No passengers yet, but I wouldn't expect there to be. Right, so now we want something similar for New York City. So what we'd do is we'll have the bus skirt around the edge before heading on through the residential district up here, and then heading back down the ways like so and back in. So new line, and you're coming around the edge. Let's do the colour first. You can be dark blue, and you're coming all the way around like so. Obviously you've got to come down here because this is one way, but that's okay. And you are using a different platform, so that's fine. And this is the New York City bus loop number 1. Depot, depot, depot. We'll use this one here, and again we'll use these Schneiders, have 4 of them. In fact, we'll go for 5 because it's a bit of a longer circuit, this one. The Yonkers JU52 is available. I think we're getting to the stage where we might start considering an airport or 2. Maybe Washington to Boston airline would be quite nice. But for now, let's just finish off some of this here. Right, so ideally we also want to have some sort of station here in Jersey City as well. Now where would we be able to pop this? We could put it there if we remove that road. Seems reasonable enough to me, so let's go ahead and do that. Remove that road and you can live right there. That's a bit short, so that might not link in. Let's just see. Oh yes, you will. Okay, so again we want to put a tram line from there to maybe just straight down there and along here as well. So let's upgrade these roads. So the main avenue down New York is going to be electrified with a tram line, as is this outer circuit along here, linking in like that. I don't think we need one to come down here, and we also want to get down the main avenue in Jersey City as well, like that. And let's just electrify in the immediate vicinity around the tram depot as well. And I think that will be fine, because then what we can do is, first of all, Jersey City Central, yeah, we'll keep that. First of all, we're going to run from Jersey City Central, and this will be light green, and we're going to New York City Exchange. Let's see if we can get in a couple extra access points here. We can there, but we can't there. Okay, so this could be, although I suppose if we keep the amount of vehicles to a minimum, the congestion's not going to be too bad. So yes, if you go up onto platform number 6, I was hoping you would come out this way. Maybe if we do a few waypoints in here, you will come out this way. Now we can't get a waypoint on this little street here, which is frustrating. Ah, there we go. That did work. I didn't know if it would or not, but it has. So all good. And you're just doing whatever you want to do down here. Not sure I like our goods deliveries coming straight on through here, but we can always remove them a little bit later if they do interfere too heavily. And this is the Jersey New York City Metro. Did I just misspell Jersey? I've got a feeling I may have done. Jersey, yes I did. Indeed I did. Jersey, New York City. There we go. So again, a couple of streetcars, and I think 4 will be fine. Very good. And now we want to do a little bus loop around Jersey City itself. So let's take care of that. So we'll have, so you're going to come out here. We'll have you stop there. And then there. That will do. Nice and simple. New line, and you're coming this way. Let's just do a colour here. Let's have you black, just so you clearly stand out. Fine, fine, fine. That's the Jersey City bus loop numero uno. Okay. Vehicle depot, I think you're the closer. So we'll utilise this, and I say we'll have 5. So set the maintenance and the paint job. In fact, let's do it for all of them. That would be the better idea here. There we go. And away she goes. So we have a metro system between Jersey and New York, one between New York and Queens as well. We still need to look at Brooklyn. We also have a little bus loop around New York City, one around Jersey City, and one around Queens as well. I think the next thing we will do, if we can do it tidily enough, is run a metro between Queens and Jersey. So let's do that, and you can be a nice pink colour to make you stand out from the rest of the lines that we have. And you're not sharing any platforms there, which is fine. We don't want you to. What about over here? Yes, you are sharing at Jersey. Now you're not. Perfect. So this is the Queens to Jersey Metro. And again, we'll just go for 4. I don't think we're going to have much uptake on this one, but we will provide it to them just in case. There we go. So I'm guessing the passengers haven't really decided to use our new systems yet. Oh no, we have one on the New York City to Queens Metro. That's good to see. There you are, young lady. Thank you very much for your patronage. And we are seeing some generation. I mean, the traffic congestion has been largely alleviated, although we are starting to back up down here between New York City and Yonkers, which we could quite readily deal with by first of all upgrading the roads so they have a electrified tram system between the two districts. Now where would we want? We've got a perfect place here, I think, for Yonkers for their bus station, metro station. So let's electrify all the way down like that and around. Get those two strips of road connected like so. I mean, the train isn't the best. Now this is gonna really piss off Yonkers because we're having to demolish quite a lot of their buildings and residences and industries and the likes to achieve our grand aims, but such is life. While we're doing that, I think we've got the room to upgrade this major road through Yonkers. Construction not possible on that one. I think that's because of that, so we'll get rid of that. So is it these there that's causing the problem? I don't know why you can't upgrade. That's better. There we go. So we'll put a higher capacity road through there, and these ones can be also increased, but not to the same sort of extent. So really are ripping straight through Yonkers there to achieve this. The other thing we want to do is do some terraforming work here. In fact, what's the elevation difference? I don't think it's a major difference. If we just do a complete flatten out here, will give us a better idea. And I think what we'll do is actually just delete this road, flatten off this entire square here. There we go. And then rebuild that loop that we had coming around. So we'll have you drop down like that. So that's quite steep there. In fact, no, we'll have it steep, very steep there. As steep as the game will allow before complaining about it. And then it's just going to loop over itself and connect in there. Okay, perfect. So let's restart. We want a bus stroke tram station here. And I think we'll have it over, oh, you little buggers. Go away. There, we'll have it there before they interfere with us again. And we'll put some street access points like that, so we've got more control, or fine control, over the routes that our vehicles opt to take in and out. And get all these linked in. We'll get rid of the traffic lights in a moment. We don't need them, I shouldn't say. Okay, there we go. Let's despawn the traffic lights that have been generated through here. And in fact, I think we're going to have quite a few in here, so let's get rid of any that's been generated while we were upgrading the road system. There we go. That's better. Yonkers transfer, we shall keep that name, and we'll do, not that, we'll do a link between New York City exchange and Yonkers transfer. Your colour will be, what do we want you to be? Let's have you dark orange. At the exchange, you're using your own dedicated platform. What happens if I tell you to come out this way by this waypoint? Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. And then you're heading straight down, going in there. Well, what about if we put you onto platform 1? Okay. Well then, what about if we have you on platform 6? And that looks a little better. In fact, let's have you on platform 3. And then through the magic of waypoints, let's have you depart through the top exit. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I mean, this is a bit crowded, but we're not overloading the lines with how in terms of the amount of vehicles, so I think it will be okay, although we might have to revisit it. Anyway, for now, let's get some Peter Wits, and for this I think we're only going to need 4, and let's colour them the dark orange. Now we need to rename line 1, so let's do that. Look at that, we have the Pioneer Zephyr. Now, we could use it on the Amtrak Northeast, however, I do think the Zephyr has rather poor acceleration characteristics, so I don't think we're going to get use of that speed. So maybe now is the time for our first express line. I did mention it in the previous episode, and I think maybe it's time we actually went ahead and did that. So I think that's what we'll do in the next episode. We'll work on an express line from Boston to Washington Corner. It'll be like a reduced stopping service. So I think we'd go, my plan would be Boston to Kingston, and then to, let's say, yeah, we'd go all the way through to New York, and then it would be Philadelphia, Baltimore, and finally Washington DC itself. But we'll do that in another episode, because we're going to have to do some jiggery pokery with our stations, either the ones that we are not stopping at, so that the Zephyr doesn't get waylaid by something being alighted or boarded at the stations. You know, people getting on and off the stopping service, they can just thunder straight on through without any impact from that. So yeah, that would be for the next episode, but something to look forward to, the Pioneer Zephyr. For now, let's just do a quick bus service for Yonkers, which has been severely decimated. It should build back pretty soon. And that's just going to be a nice simple bus loop like so. Your colour will be sky blue. And this will be Yonkers bus loop number 1. Depot, depot, depot. Let's just use that one. Schneider PB2. And I think 3 is going to be enough for this one. Let's put them on the Yonkers bus loop number 1. Okay, there we go. So we can see the effects here. The traffic is starting to build back on this bridge, and the traffic light sequencing is causing a bit of delays here on our vehicles. Let's just see how much. Yeah, we don't clear very many during that sequence. What I think we will do is actually get rid of those traffic lights now and just have it as a bit of a free-for-all. Let's just see how they handle this. Now let's just, in fact, let's just see where everybody is going. So so you're actually going, are they all going over to Jersey City? Yes. Well, 2 of them. 2 out of, I don't know, 30. It does seem like a common theme. Yes, indeed it does. So, I think we might need a... Did we do a Jersey City to Queens? They might be coming from Brooklyn though. We don't know. I think we did do a Jersey to Queens. Yes, we did. We did do a metro there. So, there might be a little bit more uptake on that than I initially anticipated. So we'll keep an eye on that. Something that is worth bearing in mind. In fact, let's just do this. Let's bring up the destination layer. And if we go Jersey City. Now I can never remember. Oh, this is, yeah, destinations. So 4 of them, well, we've got, yeah, some of them go this way to Jersey, which is fine. We've got 11 coming down here to go through New York City into Jersey. What about destination New York? Now it seems most people heading to New York are now utilising our our tram system, as we can see. Although there's not been much uptake on this one. In fact, there's been no uptake on this one as of yet, but it still just takes a little bit of time for the line to bed in. What about people heading to Queens? Yeah, not much uptake on the public transport at the moment. In fact, only 1 person, whereas 25 are utilising... maybe it's because a lot of them are coming from Yonkers, or maybe even from New Rochelle. Interesting. Have to do some investigation onto that and see where our metro lines are going to be best suited. But we have them down. In terms of passengers, we can have a quick look by looking at our line statistics and going on to here. So why is that listed as a metro? I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. So at the moment there isn't much generation, although the Queens through to Jersey one is at the moment proving the most popular, not by much, but it's still proving to be the most popular, which is quite surprising, because I did say I'd be very surprised if we had any generation on this one, but there we go. So I think that's where we'll end it for today, because I'm quite excited to get stuck into building an express line. When I say building, we have the infrastructure largely in place, but actually setting up the express line and getting the Pioneer Zephyrs rolling out onto the map. So what we'll do then, we'll take a ride actually on a tram this time, heading all the way to Jersey City, which is fine. That'll be a decent enough little cab ride for us. It's not a train today, but it's been a metro focused episode, so I suppose it's only fitting that we end with a cab ride on one of the metros. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I'm never too up to scratch on the best way to handle inner city public transport systems, but it's a learning process, and I think with a little bit of trial and error we will get there, and we will start to see an impact on our congestion levels, which have subsided but still do pose a little bit of a problem from time to time. But for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.